Booba, the racing driver. It's another cosy day at home. Mr. Beak sits in his rocking chair and looks at the pictures in his book. Lula, like a gymnast, dances beautifully with multicoloured flags. Spike tries to climb onto the coffee table to get to the bowl of apples. Booba is having fun, playing with the remote control car. He is so carried away that he does not even realise when the car hits a large box. Tiny men, miniature racing cars and fragments of a toy road tumble out to reveal a toy track. Booba is excited to discover this. He loves racing so much. Booba decides to invite his friends to come and play with it too. He takes coloured felt tip pens and paper, draws invitations and puts them into the magic wardrobe. Lula and Mr. Beak close the wardrobe doors. The wardrobe immediately starts glowing mysteriously. Invitations fly to other worlds, to Booba's friends, inviting them to come and play. Prehistoric Booba is lazily stretching after waking up in his hot, rocky world when he finds the invitation. He immediately gets ready to go. He loves racing. Poseidon Booba is at the bottom of his deep-sea water world, minding his own business and does not immediately see the invitation. It floats past him before he notices it, that he has to whistle to his friends, the shells, so that they catch the mischievous piece of paper. Having studied it, the almighty ruler of the bottom of the sea rejoices. He loves racing too. Knight Booba is in his medieval world when he notices his invitation. He quickly grabs an arrow and shoots it with his bow towards it. What if it's dangerous, he thinks. He breathes a sigh of relief as he reads the invitation. What terrific news, he thinks. Of course, he wants to race too. He loves racing. Bandit Booba finds his invitation on the way out of the saloon. Looking at the paper, he jumps for joy. Racing is great. Yeti Booba hides from a blizzard in a cave. The invitation takes him by surprise. He is bored of playing with snowmen, that he kisses the piece of paper. There is no one happier than Yeti in his world. All competitors in the race have to arrive in their cars. The rules are that all Boobas have to make their cars themselves. Prehistoric Booba is inspired by a tree knocked over by Dino. Bandit Booba takes a closer look at the empty barrels stacked by the saloon. Yeti Booba is surrounded by stones, icicles and snow. He doesn't have much choice of what to make his racing car out of. Poseidon Booba uses persuasion to agree to use a large shell. Knight Booba, used to horses, does not even consider another option. He has his horse. And now, the time has come. The participants in the race head to the start line. The road before them winds. Teddy bear fans have gathered in the stands. They shout and cheer them on. The atmosphere is exciting. Mr. Beak in the commentary booth turns on the microphone and introduces the participants to everyone. Yeti Booba on a racing car made of snow and ice in the form of a huge snowman. Knight Booba on a makeshift horse. Prehistoric Booba on a wooden car. Bandit Booba on a barrel drawn by barrels on wheels. And finally, Poseidon Booba on a shell, which runs briskly, supported by the tentacles of an octopus. Booba is the last to arrive at the start. He has chosen a little yellow car, the most ordinary car of them all. Mr. Beak announces the start of the race. Lula waves the black and white flags. The races rush forward. And only Prehistoric Booba's wooden car puffs and does not start. He pulls the lever irritably. A huge club appears and hits it hard from behind. The car immediately jumps up and darts forward. Prehistoric Booba soon catches up with the others. The competitors have roughly equal chances, but everyone seems to be cheating. Yeti Booba throws snowballs at Night Booba, who responds with a dozen arrows with suction cups. One of them hits Yeti in the nose, making it look like an elephant's trunk. Another arrow lands in the coral crown of Poseidon Booba, who immediately loses control and flies to the side of the road. Bandit Booba also decides that just going fast is not enough for him. He swirls his lasso over his head and lassoes Booba's yellow car. However, Bandit's plan fails, since Booba steps on the gas and takes a sharp turn at the bend. Bandit cannot keep his balance. His barrels immediately rise into the air. The next moment, he's thrown right under the hooves of Night Booba's makeshift horse. Night Booba is not happy with this. Thick crimson smoke escapes from the mouth of his horse. Bandit Booba is very confused by all of this and drives off the track. In the meantime, Prehistoric Booba uses his club again. In response, Poseidon Booba attacks him with his shell friends that look like a swarm of mosquitoes. Prehistoric Booba shields himself. The tentacles of the octopus allow Poseidon's racing car not only to run efficiently, but also to jump high up into the sky, which he does very successfully. Overtaking Prehistoric Booba, Poseidon jumps over Night Booba's makeshift horse. And then he releases a cloud of blue ink at him to confuse him and have time to get ahead. Poseidon Booba is in the lead. However, this doesn't last long. Unhappy with his behaviour, Yeti Booba throws a heavy block of snow at him, which hits the shell. Poseidon's car loses control and overturns. Only Booba does not take part in all these dastardly acts. On his nimble yellow car, he carefully drives around the riders, fighting with themselves, and unexpectedly gets ahead. They rush after him. Snowballs and arrows with suction cups are fired at Booba. The opponents are clearly ready to do anything to win. And what about Booba? He has used his secret weapon. It turns out that Booba's little car isn't as ordinary as it looks. It has a fire extinguisher on it. Booba pulls the string, and foam flies out of it, accelerating Booba's car ahead of everyone else. Booba is going to win! Lula has already raised flags, when suddenly, Booba's car takes off into the air and flies above ground. A stream of foam flies out of it in all directions. Booba loses control. The other racers sigh with relief. They have a chance to beat him. They race to the finish line, but suddenly a giant apple falls from the sky and rolls towards them along the track, followed by a giant-sized hungry spike. The illusion fades. Booba finds that he and all his friends are crowded around the racetrack, which is set up on the floor. All their cars are tiny. Neither he, nor Prehistoric Booba, nor Bandit Booba, nor Poseidon Booba, nor Night Booba, nor even Yeti Booba have ever sat at the wheel for real. It was only in his imagination. But Booba suddenly wants a real race. He calls everyone into the yard and rolls out colourful children's cars from the barn. Mr. Beak climbs into the box and shouts, "Ready, set, go!" Lula waves flags at the start line. Cool! Booba knows this is going to be fun. And now, the race has started for real.